When I say oil up well, bro, I mean oil up well, no! Oh my god!
What do all these clips have in common? Nothing. No, it's a trick question. My Hero Academia is a show that I have been consuming since the second season aired. More specifically, the start of the race in the sports festival, so I was kind of a little bit deep into season 2 when I started. And when I first saw this show, my first instinctual thought was, God damn, is this shit stupid. I mean, I honestly thought this show was kind of ass, but I just couldn't stop watching.
Holy shit, this hot garbage. Yeah. But I can't stop listening. Yeah.
But now, after 10 years, what are my thoughts on My Hero Academia? You had me at the first half, fell off in the second, not gonna lie.
Look, I both love and hate this series, and that's what I want to talk about with you guys today. Why I think MHA is both good and bad.
Part 1. The bad. One thing My Hero Academia is especially bad at is setup and execution, or setup and payoff. For some reason, Horikoshi just doesn't know how to do this, except for Dabi. You see, in order for something to be set up and then paid off in a great way, you need to set it up, nurture it, and then execute it well. Setting something up is like a child. If you set a child up but don't nurture him, well, you lead to a disappointment. There are multiple examples of Horikoshi being bad at this, but the best one I could give you would be Izuku Midoriya's arms. This panel right here set up so many issues with this story. To be fair, Horikoshi did do 2 out of the 3 things you're supposed to do for a plot point like this. He did set it up and he did nurture it. The execution was just shit. Not only did he set it up by stating that Izuku can't use his arms, but he even nurtured this plot point by having Izuku switch up his entire fighting style. Now, to be fair, there were workarounds for this. We did switch Izuku's fighting style from punching or throwing haymakers to kicking, which is actually pretty clever on Horikoshi's part. Not only are you introducing a new moveset for our hero, but now we have a good reason why he would switch it. Well, he can't use his arms anymore, or at least he uses arms recklessly as he did. And then, of course, we had the overhaul fight where Eri was rewinding his body back to before he broke his arms so that he could, which, again, nice workaround. But then we have the movies, or more specifically, Heroes Rising, where Izuku breaks both of his arms, and I'm pretty sure he breaks his leg too. What happened to the arm plot point again? And even then, if you ignore the movies, in the series he does it again, 2 or 3 more times, when he breaks his arms but then uses Black Whip to keep them together. What I'm basically saying is that Izuku has 0 consequences for his actions, and you set up that Izuku has this level of non-self-preservation, that he genuinely doesn't give a shit about himself, and instead of paying that off, you write it off as, well, Izuku has a better mastery of One for All, so that's why he can break his arms as many times as he fucking wants. Really? What the fuck? Season 6 overall is genuinely when I started to clock out of MHA, when I genuinely stopped giving a shit about this series. But more specifically, the arc of Villain Hunt.
張り出しの肌感がずれてたんじゃないか。気づかないうちに振動トレーニングでもしたか。
Okay, quick PSA, if you don't know what Villain Hunt means, it's basically the Vigilante Izuku arc, but like I call it Villain Hunt because that's what it's technically called. So Yeah, that's why. Villain Hunt is genuinely when I started getting pissed off for the series, because this arc is by far the biggest fumble Horikoshi's ever made in this show or series ever. You have Izuku, your main character, go into this mindset that all he is a cog in the machine, that he is just a vessel for One For All, where you give him this idea that he genuinely doesn't matter. You give him zero self-preservation beyond, well, I am the user of One For All, therefore I need to stay alive. You give him nothing to live for besides his power, and you fumble the fucking bag. You basically take all of our investment in this series and say, hey, fuck you. The thing about arcs like this is if you want your main character to go through a dark arc and for us to be invested, you have to give us one of two things. Number one, why is he going into this dark arc? And number two, does it make sense? The reason why Izuku leaves UA is because he is the vessel of One For All, which, to be fair, is kind of a good reason. You are endangering your friends because you think, well, being there, All For One will just go there. However, I feel like that's not a good enough reason to push him deep into the lone wolf archetype that he is in this section of the series. After all, what's to say that All For One would just attack UA to get to Izuku? Now, not being there was just as dangerous as it would have been if you just stayed there. However, if we were given something like, I don't know, Gran Torino dying, somebody who was close to Izuku and who was greatly tied to, One For All, then I could see him trying to stay into this lone wolf archetype, as being close to Gran Torino and him being close to One For All got him killed. And I feel like this would make Hero Hunter Deku versus 1A a better fight if he was actively trying to avoid them because the one person who was close to him and the quirk that he uses got killed, that, well, if they're close to him, he'll die too. But them actively working together so they can stop him would prove something to him. That, well, working together with your friends, well, might yield better results than just doing everything by yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, not everything in Villain Hunt is bad. I'll talk about the goods of Villain Hunt when I talk about the things that I like about the series. But when it comes to the bad things in Villain Hunt, there are specifically two moments that actively pissed me off to the point where I stopped caring about this series. It wasn't just enough that the whole reason why the arc started didn't really make sense to me. There were two very specific moments that just fuck this series for me. The first one I want to talk about is Bakugo's apology. It sucks. It just sucks so much. And not because of the act itself. I believe Bakugo apologizing should have been a plot point that should have always been a thing in this series. But I feel like this apology is just washed over, like, multiple times. After the apology, Bakugo tries to just call Izuku by Izuku, which I believe should have been a subtle thing that should have changed. I believe from that moment onward, Bakugo should have only called Izuku Izuku. I believe Bakugo should have actively tried being nicer to Izuku, but still had that hint of fire in him that he normally does. But no, they just wave it off of Izuku saying, "It's okay, Bakugo. You can call me Deku all you want, Bakugo-chan. Like, shut the fuck. God damn it." Now, out of all of the millions of straws that are on this hypothetical camel's back, the one that broke it was the second half of episode 25. All of that later half of that episode specifically, I can't. You know what? I don't care about My Hero Academia anymore, and I stopped watching the series from then. Because every aspect of, again, the second half of that specific episode ticked me off, and I just couldn't do it anymore. Now, again, when I talk about the things I like about the series, I'll talk about the first half of that specific episode. But the second half, oh boy, oh how, oh geez, oh god. Firstly, let's talk about All Might. Again, first part, he was awesome. The second part, where it actually ticked me off, is when they tried to explain that it was in fact All Might's fault that Izuku became a lone wolf, and that All Might should apologize to Izuku for doing this to him. What? In what universe is that a reasonable conclusion? This nigga's been only a good father to this little fuck, and you're telling me it's somehow his fault for, and I quote, not helping enough? What, giving him bento boxes wasn't enough? Driving him places wasn't enough? Heck, this guy actively was trying to get this nigga to take a shower, and then he just ran off. Izuku ran off. How was his All Might's fault? What the fuck? But you know what? Even though I said that was the straw that broke the camel's back, that actively got me to stop watching My Hero Academia, I kind of lied. I'm sorry. But then again, this show lies to you all the time. I did lie. Because there was one last thing that episode gave me that gave me hope for the series. Stars and Stripes.
マスターが困ってる。二の足を踏む理由がどこにあるのさ。
This is gonna be short, this is gonna be quick, and this is gonna be simple. Just like Stars and Stripes screen time. Oh my fucking god. Horikoshi, why? And I really do mean this. Why would you introduce us to a character who, 1, is cool, and 2, is interesting, and then kill them off for them to not matter at all in the slightest within their introduction? Horikoshi, why? I actually don't understand this. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I actually was interested in Stars and Stripes. Okay, I thought this was cool. This is the #1 American hero, and her ability is awesome as fuck. But then you kill her off. You kill her off. Why? You really why? I'm being so honest with you. For some reason, and again, this is like the most unseamless transition ever, but for some reason, Horikoshi just can't write women. Or women kind of get the short stick in this show. And you know what? Will I call Horikoshi a sexist? No, he's not. It just seems like he's just, he does struggle with this type of stuff. Now, yeah, does he objectify a lot of female characters in this show? Yeah, he does, but he objectifies the guys' characters too, so it's still equal. Look, the fan service debate is a debate for another day, so I won't get too far into it here, since I kind of want to make my own separate video for that. But to dumb it down for people that watch my channel, if you think this is fan service, then this is fan service. If you think this is objectification, then this is objectification. Either way, it's a bunch of underage kids, so... Officer right there. Yeah, you might be wondering. Well, since we're talking about bad things, let's talk about the ending. But no, actually, the ending's gonna get its own separate section in the second part for this video. That's right, baby, this shit's a 2-parter. See you guys in the next episode. It might be next week. I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping it's next week. They may be wondering, why am I splitting this up into 2 parts? Well, it's because #1, I like money, and #2, I like money, and #3, it's just easier to edit, I'm not gonna lie, and I really want to release stuff, and it's been a while since I released a video, and I don't want this video to be super long. It's already 12 minutes, and I like money. All right, bye.